Hello, folks. This is Mercy TV Wednesday night meeting with our host, Perry.
Hello, welcome to the Wednesday night meeting. We're so glad you could attend. Hi out there in live chat land. Please let us know how we're doing, especially the sound. Thanks. Come on. All right. Okay, well, I will get to the news here. Normally, this meeting is to network folks, particularly patients and growers. So if you're a patient who's looking for a grower, or vice versa, a grower who has room for patients, come on down to the Mercy Center Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Our address is 1745 Capitol Street Northeast. We're here just behind the Graber Insurance Building, just down from Jefferson and Capitol Street there. Normally we'll be talking with the folks in attendance and communicating with them, doing outreach, help desking, and networking on the resources depending on the issues that the folks are facing. If you're just new with the program, getting your card, and things of that nature, if you're making a change, hey, good to see you, man.
Yeah, I'm back alive.
Right
I'll
on.
be back tomorrow, but you won't be here till what, Friday?
Yeah.
Alright.
So I guess I'll be seeing you later.
Yeah, catch up to you. As soon
Okay,
as
man.
possible. Alright.
Take care.
You too.
And so this show will probably just be spewing the news here for a half hour or so, and then get on with the rest of the evening. So I guess the big news here in Oregon is where we have a dispensary system that's being talked about, will hopefully be in place starting March of 2014. And that is to allow medical marijuana facilities, as they're being called, to take in excess medicine and reimburse the cardholder for that excess medicine, then take and disseminate that, dispense it even, to cardholders, getting reimbursed again for the cannabis medicine. So it's a process that's going to be heavily dependent on the reimbursement aspect of it. There's going to be a lot of issues to be debated before the law goes into effect. There's a committee, a commission, if you will, that's been composed and is meeting, is going to be meeting once a month leading up to March there. They're hoping that in February they'll have the rules issued for public consumption then. And potential comment, I suppose, although there's not a lot that folks may be able to do at that point. But folks can watch the proceedings at Mercy TV's web section. Go to mercycenters.org, then click on the Mercy-TV tab, and there you'll see a list of all our video captures, both live stream and what's stored up to YouTube via our CCTV capture. There you'll see the meetings that were held and will be held on the Commission to Form Medical Marijuana Facilities, or MMFs, as they're going to be called. So hello folks again out there in video land. Welcome, thanks for tuning in. be sure to cop the link and send it off to folks. Let them know that they can catch this thing here Wednesday starting at 7 p.m. So folks should stay tuned for news and information on the medical cannabis issue as it unfolds here in Oregon, across America, and around the world. Also, we have Washington and Colorado that have legalized, and expect to see them come on.
Yes, you do have audio and visual.
Oh, good. And it's coming through nice and loud and clear then?
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, good to know that our vid and audio is working. Nice little webcam set up here, courtesy of Graber Insurance. Thanks a lot to our folks there and CCTV for their help in broadcasting news and information here. So, unless we have any news and announcements, anything from the Peanut Gallery?
Waiting for the next meeting on the dispensaries. See what's happening, what.
So, so saying earlier, folks should stay tuned for the next meetings. We'll be broadcasting them here through our Mercy TV links, through our live stream when we can, and also capturing on a CCTV and uploading to our YouTube library. Oh, goody.
The garden's doing well. A couple of the plants, the strawberries starting to have orange hairs. So it's in next week or two, it's harvest time.
Okay. Folks can see more about PK's Garden also up on YouTube. Look for the My Garden entries category. We'll try to set up subfolders in our YouTube and other video libraries. But in the meantime, just look for My Garden under our Mercy Center TV YouTube account. Okay, some news. Louisiana, voters endorsed legalizing cannabis. A majority of state voters back legalizing and regulating the consumption of cannabis in a manner similar to alcohol, according to survey data released by the Public Policy Polling Group and commissioned by the Louisiana branch of the American Civil Liberties Union. 53% of respondents endorsed regulating and taxing cannabis for those aged 21 and older. Only 37% opposed the idea, leaving 80, 90, so another 10% undecided. Interesting. 65% of respondents also expressed support for legalizing the use of cannabis for therapeutic purposes, while 56% of respondents approved of a policy replacing criminal penalties for minor marijuana offenders with fine-only citations. Under present state law, first-time marijuana possession offenses are punishable by up to 6 months in jail, while second offenses may be punished by up to 5 years incarceration. This past summer, members of the state Senate narrowly defeated proposed legislation to reduce marijuana penalties for subsequent offenders. So let's hope that that happens in Louisiana then.
I would hate to spend 5 months.
5 years, yeah, for a second minor marijuana offense. But that's pretty much what's happening there, folks. So that's why everybody needs to register, vote, and get everybody they know to do so also. Even in supposed lame duck years like this one here, when there are no major candidates up for re-election, there's still judges and DAs, there's still other officials, and all these folks should be asked their opinion on the cannabis law reform issue, and folks should vote accordingly. Oh, I just love fast turnaround speeds here. But that's what happens with Microsoft Windows in their browser. Let's see if Google Chrome can do any faster here. No. Everybody's crawling.
Probably the weather.
Could be. All right, so where did we leave off? Yes, Louisiana. And in Sydney, Australia, they report cannabis consumption plays little role in global disease burden. Maybe that's because of its medical benefits, perhaps. Hopefully this will be telling us that it's not the cause of cancer as it's proclaimed by its detractors. In fact, just the opposite. But we won't know until the crummy web page opens up. In the meantime, thanks folks for tuning in. Feel free to come over and leave a chat in our little chat box. You can also send us an email at info@mercycenters.org. Hold on for just a little bit here, folks, hopefully, while this web page comes up with the news that we're all waiting to hear.
So Friday night, give us a phone call at the television station. 503-588-6444 at 7 o'clock to 7:30.
That's right. And folks can also catch it again in our video library. Should you not be able to tune in, then man,
Or give us a call at 503-363-4588. That's the office here on Capitol Street. 12 to 6, Monday through Friday.
yep. There's our OCCs.
excuse us while Curry steps out? To show you the newest CC. Or should I just sing you a song? Zippy doo dah, zippy a. My oh my, what a good old day.
All right, thanks VK for filling in there, folks. Oh, looky here, finally. So, study, cannabis consumption plays little role in global disease burden.
That's from Australia?
From Sydney, Australia. Cannabis use is not a significant contributor to the global burden of disease, according to an epidemiological review published in The Lancet. An international team of researchers from Australia and the United States assessed the global prevalence of illicit drug use and quantified its adverse effects on health, as measured in years of life lived with disability, years of the life lost, and disability-adjusted life years. Investigators reported that more people were likely to be dependent on opioids and amphetamines than on other controlled substances, and that overall, illicit drug use was responsible for 0.9% of the DALYs worldwide. By comparison, tobacco smoking was estimated to cause 6.3% of DALYs worldwide, and alcohol was estimated to cause 3.9% of DALYs, or disability-adjusted life years. By contrast, researchers reported that regular cannabis use made a very small contribution to disease burden through its contribution as a risk factor for schizophrenia, a link which was acknowledged to be controversial in an accompanying commentary, since existing research on the plant's potential association with the disease is not yet definitive. In total, researchers estimated that 13.1 million people globally are dependent on cannabis, including 1.8 million people in North America. Investigators estimated that 15.5 million people worldwide were dependent on opioid drugs, and 17.2 million were dependent upon amphetamines. So, there's an interesting bit of news. Let's hope that that information gets spread about and used, and we can have a science-based drug policy and education instead of the political one that we currently have that ends up with cannabis being public enemy number one, when in point of fact it is a savior to millions of people now in the U.S. and possibly around the world here. So as we talked about earlier, Oregon legalizes dispensaries, and that we're having a series of meetings, the last of which happened September 20th here in Salem. Do we know when the next is happening? September, October?
They said the 14th.
October 14th? Do we know if it's in the same place?
Yep. But they weren't quite sure because there was a couple people.
Okay. Hopefully they will settle on a time and we can get that published out to folks. And at the same time, we'll find out more about the state's efforts to capture, to live stream the hearings and to archive their captures for later reviewing. Also in the news, feds reaffirm that they will not likely challenge state legalization laws. United States Deputy Attorney General James Cole reaffirmed that the Justice Department is unlikely to challenge statewide marijuana legalization efforts, provided that these efforts imposed robust regulations which discourage sales to minors and seek to prevent the diversion of cannabis to states that have not yet legalized its use. We will not seek to preempt state ballot initiatives, Cole told members of the U.S. Senate Judiciary Committee on Tuesday, September 10th, 2013, adding that the state decriminalization laws can coexist with federal drug laws. In an August 29 Department of Justice memorandum, Deputy Attorney General Cole had previously directed the U.S. attorneys in all 50 states not to interfere with the implementation of state marijuana regulations, unless such activities specifically undermine 8 explicit federal law enforcement priorities. In a response to a question from Senator Sheldon Whitehouse, Democrat, Rhode Island, Cole also stated that federal prosecutors should utilize similar discretion and not interfere with the activities of state-compliant cannabis dispensaries, as long as their actions are not violating any of the 8 federal enforcement priorities outlined in the agency's August 29th memo. Rhode Island is one of 6 states, as well as Washington, D.C., that presently licenses the production and distribution of medical cannabis. 6 additional states are expected to enact similar licensing regulations in the coming months. Several senators and witnesses questioned whether the Justice Department would consider amending federal financial regulations that presently inhibit state-compliant cannabis businesses from taking standardized tax deductions and partnering with conventional financial institutions. Deputy Attorney General Cole responded that such proposed changes in law were arguably the responsibility of congressional lawmakers, not the Justice Department. Commenting on the hearing, Normal Communications Director Eric Altieri said, For the first time in modern history, members of the U.S. Congress and the Justice Department were not discussing furthering cannabis prohibition, but instead were testifying to the merits of cannabis legalization and regulation.
Yay.
The hearings marked the first time that members of Congress have explicitly weighed in on the conflict between the state and federal marijuana laws since voters in Colorado and Washington elected to legalize the retail production and sale of the plant this last November. The hearing was called for by Senate Judiciary Chairman Patrick Leahy, Democrat, Vermont, who acknowledged that the federal government must have a smarter approach to marijuana policy. Witnesses at Tuesday's hearing also included King County, Washington Sheriff John Urquhart, a vocal supporter of the state's new legalization law, and Jack Finlaw, Chief Legal Counsel for the Colorado Governor's Office. Hey, boyo. Hey there. So saying hello out there, folks in chat land, all you boyos and girlos. Welcome, thanks for tuning in. We're just catching up with the news. The latest was the federal announcement that they're not going to bust anybody's chops here right away today. We'll be sure to get the documentation with the list of their 8 points that they're going to be looking for. Also, rules for folks to go up to Washington State if you're planning to have a cannabis tour up there, tourism. Be sure you know the rules and regs. Also, stay tuned. Vancouver was looking to have some municipal laws prohibiting stores in Vancouver area. So hello, we should be broadcasting, aren't we? Reading out there? Should be there. Hold on a sec. Doing a little networking here. Okay, so we'll try to get back to the news and information. Let's see. Come on now. Oklahoma, majority of voters endorse marijuana law reform. That's cool. Progress in Oklahoma, of all places. Oh, come on. All right, so we will wait for that to respond and talk about the other legislative victories that we had here this the past legislative session, and that is that there were no less than 5 major legislative achievements, culminating, of course, in the medical marijuana facilities.
Don't forget the PSD.
PTSD was added to the conditions for medical marijuana. We also entered the driver's license suspension for marijuana possession, reduced the penalties for possession, substantial sentencing reforms, and of course the dispensaries. The most important lobbyist helping convince legislators to support all these measures was Anthony Taylor of Compassionate Oregon. Spending countless hours in Salem and on the phone, Taylor was able to gently convince many legislators to reform sentencing for people for minor marijuana offenses and adding PTSD to qualifying conditions. I've been a part of this movement for the past 35 years, and I thought it was a good time to approach the legislature with some proposed changes, so I jumped back in, Taylor said. A year and a half ago, I was started to try to get everybody together to start on a legislative agenda, and a lot of it got put into effect. The meeting back in November 2012 was a starting point for some of these bills and a few others that did not make it through the legislature. The meeting was held in Lincoln City between cannabis activists and industry leaders. While there, they agreed upon a list of objectives that including adding PTSD, allowing safe access, and getting sentencing reform accomplished. All 3 of these were achieved. Senate Bill 281 passed early in the session and added PTSD, or post-traumatic stress disorder, to the list of qualifying conditions under Oregon law. The bill was backed by Todd Delato, chair of the Advisory Committee on Medical Marijuana, or the ACMM, who had fought for years to add the disorder to the list of qualifying conditions for medical marijuana. With no success using the usual bureaucracy, Delato sought to go straight to the legislature. Some minor resistance in the legislature was expressed, or should we say, uttered foolishly, by freshman Senator Betsy Close, who referenced a 35-year-old study and meetings during her testimony as her evidence of why marijuana ruined one of her relatives' lives. And this was her reasoning to stop the addition of PTSD for veterans, police, firefighters, and others. Based on her stance and testimony, she would likely have ended the entire program if she had her way. Senate Bill 82 passed and will end the driver's license suspension for people convicted of less than an ounce of marijuana. This is an important bill and will stop the suspension of over 5,000 Oregon driver's licenses each year, which often put undue hardships on people for minor offenses, even when unrelated to driving. Also, Senate Bill 40 passed almost simultaneously, which changes the punishment for over 4 ounces of marijuana from a Class B felony, punishable by up to 10 years in prison, to a Class B misdemeanor, which has a maximum sentence of 5 years in jail. The penalty for between 1 and 4 ounces was also reduced. SB 40 also addressed concentrations and cultivation, making possession of a 1/4 ounce of hash a misdemeanor instead of a felony, and cutting in half cultivation penalties from 20 years to 10. Anthony Taylor explained, "Sentencing reform has always been an area of interest for me, and I have always been concerned about the dramatic jump from a simple violation for less than an ounce to a Class B felony for more than an ounce." Compassionate Oregon is currently working on a number of issues, some of which didn't get fully off the ground this session. They're trying to establish an independent committee on cannabis and would like to be involved in the rules decision process. They will also pursue more sentencing reforms in the future. You can reach Compassionate Oregon by emailing compassionateoregon@comcast.net or calling Anthony Taylor at 971-241-2707.
And that's the Cannabis Connection that he's getting this information from.
And in here, yes, you can catch these at the Mercy Center, 1745 Capitol Street, Monday through Friday, noon to 6. Folks will be there. We have a stack of them, not just the latest and greatest one, but we have back issues which also have some very good recipes and a lot of fun information, good facts. Every other month we have ones that have grow tips in it, information as well. I know that they have one for on 420 in April for the growing season that starts there. So folks, be sure to check those out when you get a chance. Well, gosh, that's about all the news and information that we have here tonight. Excuse me. We'll take another check out there as you folks out there in video land. Oh, we're losing them. We've only got one left. Any more chats there? Any more? Nothing there? No. So looks like we're all by ourselves here.
Thank you for watching this evening.
And folks, be sure to come on down to the Mercy Center Wednesday nights. We'll be here 7 till 9-ish or so, trying to help you to network and help desk on the issues. If you're looking to get your card, get your records together, bring them on down to us here. We'll vet them and pass them on to the doc. If you're looking to get some medicine now, always helping out folks in that situation, be it with resources on hand or what we can network you to. Also in the long term, you're going to want to get growing or to find a grower. Help with that, help in the making decision, and then to resources. And of course, best methods on medicating. You can get more information on PK's Merciful Oil there. And tune in, again, go to our video library. You can see the past episodes where we talked with folks. We've had folks on using the healing oil there, and we talk about the recipe for making it there also. So come catch our video live or tune in next time to Mercy TV. Thanks for watching. We'll see you.
Good night. You want to say anything before I turn it off, Glenn?
Yes, good night.
Good night. God bless you all, every single one of you.